And we're back. Welcome back to A Meeting with Maly. We are going to be covering last week and this week's episodes of the Dancing with the Stars, so Horror and Queen Night.
That happens when you fall behind.
When
half of us fall behind, I mean.
No, we just got busy. But last week there was no Masked Singer, just mainly behind the scenes stuff. And so we don't really need to cover that. And this week's I did not get to watch yet, but we can still cover the reveal and stuff. It's not a big deal, and I'll just watch it soon when it's posted on Hulu. So, what are your thoughts on the Masked Singer?
Can I reveal what happened?
Yeah, sure.
We got a wild card.
Yay!
It was the beach ball.
Okay.
Which apparently in previews it was revealed that the beach ball is 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
Are they Group A or Group B?
Okay.
They're Group B. I see Caterpillar in the recents on YouTube. Beach ball.
And was that everything?
No, because the beach ball was also eliminated tonight.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you do not have any notes for...
Not yet. I'm gonna watch it soon.
So with that being said, would you like the reveal of the beach ball?
Sure.
I in a last ditch guess, because I watched the clues first.
Mm-hmm.
And the performance.
Yeah.
I guessed it correct.
Oh shit.
But because you're gonna get a free point if I say it. I don't know.
Maybe don't say it until I watch.
That's okay. You're gonna get it in your Skype PMs while we talk.
Not that.
If I can find them. Here's the performance. Your clues. Wherever they went. There they are.
Ooh.
I know you see me standing there.
All right, let's get into Dancing with the Stars.
And we will get back to this at the end of the episode.
Well, maybe.
There's your clues.
All right. So for Horror Night, it starts off with The Miz and Whitney. The Miz tries to scare Whitney. And he's very excited for this week, and he talks about their movie choice. The Miz invited Whitney and her family to his place, and they all have some Halloween fun together.
I have the wrong note open.
Oh my gosh.
The Miz and Whitney dance a Paso Doble to Wicked Games by Rain, and they're representing Hellraiser for a movie.
All right. Len says he nailed it. He says it was a mix of aggression and expression, and he wishes there was a little stronger posture, and criticizes his. Derek says Hellraiser would have danced just like that, and he was really impressed and thought the dance was great. Bruno says he channeled all of the devilish and powerful stuff. He says he had great control and thought his footwork was good. He criticized his mess of it. Carrie Ann loved this dance. She thought it was amazing, and she loved the intensity and how he really
I
got
love
into
intensity.
how he got into character. All right, scores.
9, 8, 9, 8 for a 34 out of 40.
All right. I gave this a 9 because I echoed
9.
Carrie Ann and Derek. I thought this dance was a really good one. Like, I really like how passionate the Miz can be, and he's honestly like became one of my top favorites. And he always gets into character. He always gets into the dance. He has so much energy, and I just always enjoy him. Your thoughts?
Wonderful.
You also gave it a 9, yes.
I said that.
Okay. All right. Next up is Kenya and Brandon. Kenya was super excited she got her dimes. She says last week was a dream. Kenya says she's terrified of spiders, and she talks about growing up as a Jehovah's Witness. So she didn't get to celebrate Halloween. She talks about Devil's Night and growing up a bit.
Dancing an Argentine Tango to Take My Breath, representing the movie Arachnophobia. It's Kenya and Brandon.
Derek-
They dance.
Derek says she has an elegant demeanor about her and says she's so pleasant and stunning to watch. He criticizes there's some missteps in here and there, but he's always impressed with her. Bruno says this dance was beautiful and deadly. He says she's poised, but criticizes to work on the transitions. Carrie Ann says she has so much power and that when she dances, she digs into it. She says her power is spectacular. She criticizes when she hits a pose, she freezes. Len says she spun a web that absolutely captured the flavor of Argentine Tango. And now scores. Are you asleep? Alright, I guess I'll just say the scores. Oh my gosh. So,
The scores are 8. That's it, just 8. 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8.
first score 32 out of 40, and then Mike and I both gave it an 8 as well.
For a score of an 8 out of an 8.
I did like this dance. It was good. I don't think it was one of their best ones, but it wasn't terrible. I definitely thought she had like some missteps, but it was good. Any thoughts at all?
I think you're an airport.
What? Exactly. I'm flying. Anyways,
Airplanes don't fly, airplanes do.
Exactly. Do you have any thoughts on Kenya and Brandon's dance?
No.
All right. Next up is JoJo and Jenna.
I only have thoughts on mangoes.
JoJo was super excited for the first perfect score of the season, and she's very excited for Horror Night. JoJo says she's going to handle her inner Pennywise. JoJo talks about trick-or-treaters who dress like her and how they make her smile. JoJo shows up to rehearsal dressed like Jenna, and then her family shows up to her rehearsal.
Me showing up to Skype calls dressed like Livingston.
Oh my god. All right. Introduce their dance and their song and movie.
Dancing Jazz to Anything Goes by District 79 with the movie It. It's JoJo and Jenna.
Bruno says this dance was terrifying and absolutely brilliant. He says she turned a nightmare into a work of art, and he loved the quality. Marianne says JoJo is a brilliant dancer, and she loved the way she pushed herself further and said she nailed it. Len says this dance was scary, and he says if any dance captured the flavor of a book, it's this one. Derek says he's terrified of clowns. He loved the juxtaposition of the horror and the song and thought it was phenomenal. No scores.
Another one. That's a perfect score.
Yeah. 40
Yeah.
40. And both of us gave it a 10
Naturally,
as well.
we also gave 10s.
Heck yeah. Like, why wouldn't we?
Oh, like the band that Daniel Seavey is in.
But yeah, JoJo and Jen are just like front runners, and they're just so good naturally. All right. Cody is excited for horror. Oh, next up is Cody and Cheryl. Cody is excited for Horror Night and his song. He talks about his love for spooky things. He tells Cheryl about him and his boyfriend dressing up as Harley Quinn and the Joker.
I'm Harley Quinn.
What?
I'm Harley Quinn.
He talks about his boyfriend, and he FaceTimes him with Cheryl. Cody wants to prove to everyone that he can do even better.
Ugh. I had to pee.
Okay. And then also, next up is you have to say their song and dance and everything.
I gotta do it from memory. I left my phone in my room.
Oh, okay.
It is a cha-cha.
Yes.
To There Will Be Blood by Kevin's favorite artist of all time, Kim Patras.
Too psycho.
What?
Like the theme of Psycho.
Oh.
Carrie Ann says she's scared of him for all of the right reasons. She says he was amazing tonight and loved their connection. Len was
farted.
Like, Len was what?
I farted.
Oh my god. Len says hallelujah. He was waiting for him to really show them his potential. Derek says
hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Derek says he plays a great psycho. He says this dance was his best. He says they can really see the detailed technique, legs, cha-cha locks, and the connection. And then Bruno says it was great. Scores.
He says this dance was great.
Yeah.
What part of I'm peeing don't you get? You gotta read the scores.
All right. The scores are 4 9s for a score of 36 out of 40. Mike gave it a 9 and I gave it a 10. Because I actually thought it was a little underscored. I thought it was really good. One of their better dances, for sure.
It's the 4th highest score. It's a little underscored.
It was.
Hee. Farted again.
Alright, next is Jimmy and Emma.
Jimmy. And Emma.
Emma discusses The Quiet Place. Jimmy talks about being a father. Emma wants to incorporate American.
We should have had Kevin on for a brief movie review of these.
Oh my god, that'd be iconic. He went back on FaceTime. Emma wants to incorporate American Sign Language into this dance. And then their song and everything.
That's it.
Alright. They did a contemporary to Say Something by Daniel
Thanks for the
Jang.
yawn translation.
By Daniel Jang to the theme of The Quiet Place. Len loved this dance. He said it had control, emotion. It held his attention, and he thought the music was really tricky, but he managed to dance right along with it.
This beat is my recital. I think it's very vital.
Derek loved the power he created. He thought the routine was beautiful. and he loved the storytelling. He says he's so committed and authentic to the character. Bruno says he captured the essence of the movie and the character. And then Carrie Ann says he understood the power of the dance, move us, inspire us, and make us better humans. The scores were 10-9, 10-9 for a score of 38 out of 40. And then Mike and I both gave him a 10. Do you have any thoughts?
That's it.
All right. Well, Jimmy and Emma are just so good. Jimmy's like really improved every week, and
I'm so hot. My cock is hot.
I think Jimmy has a strong chance to win for sure.
Okay, hot cock.
Next up is Olivia and Belle. Hello, you're back.
I was always back. I just forgot to turn my camera back on.
Oh, okay. Olivia talks about the elimination being scary last week. She thinks it was a personal issue that she was in the bottom two. Olivia is excited because
What's she gonna do? Bribe her way out of it?
Oh my god. Olivia is excited because The Purge is one of the only horror movies she's ever seen, and she says the Pasta Doble is hard for her because of the pace. And then you'd say the song.
Bagels. Oh wait, that's what that says. It's Beggin' by Main Skin.
With the theme of The Purge. With the Pasta Doble. Alright, Derek says that was a difficult routine and that she did a great job. Bruno says she kept up with a very hard routine and criticizes her shoulders. Carrie Ann says she makes things look effortless and says her and the judges could see the strength and says she was passionate.
This dick.
And says she was passionate. Len says she came back to life and says her Pasta Doble was terrific.
I love Paws Doughboys.
All right, scores.
And I gave an 8 because I don't like her.
All right, yeah.
She can get fucked.
Well, the judges all gave a 9 for 36 out of 40. Mike said he gave it an 8. I gave it a 9 just because, like, I don't really love her, but obviously, like, I do like her as a dancer. Like, she isn't bad. She's just not my favorite. But she's definitely a good dancer for her. Next is Melora and Artem. Melora is excited about Horror Night. She says her dad was in Cujo. She mentions her parents are both actors and talks about them, and then her parents show up in between rehearsal. And then you say her song.
Penis.
Yeah, exactly. That's totally Melora and Artem's song for Horror Night. All right, they did
it's a Hound Dog Jive, which not good.
Yeah. Well, I didn't hate it, but anyway, Bruno says all of her performances make him feel good, and says she plays around with such wit and sense of humor. Carrie Ann says it was a great performance, but she wants more from her and wants her to push.
This person's name is Yazzie.
And then Carrie Ann wants her to push herself and thought the dance felt safe. Len says it was a mix of quantity and quality, and he thought that her dance was great and fantastic and says it was a proper jive. Eric echoes Carrie Ann and wants her to push herself more. Scores.
So true. Scores are 8-9, 8-9, 34-40, 8-9.
Yeah. I actually liked it and gave it a 9 because, I mean, it wasn't her best dance for sure at all, but, like, I just thought it was a really fun one. So, I don't know. I thought the judges were kind of hard on her, a couple of them.
Hard on.
Any thoughts? Same. Next up is Amon and Daniela. Amon talks about Halloween and his love for scary movies. And then Daniela says Amon is one of the sweetest people she's ever met. And then you say the song and everything.
Wikipedia said the song was called I Got Five on it.
Yeah.
And the movie is Us. Not Up. Us.
Yes.
There's a letter there. I was born to lick that man's cheeks.
Carrie Ann says this dance was genius. She says he transported the judges to another world and said it was sheer perfection. Len says Daniela came up with the most brilliant concept and says Iman looked fantastic. Derek said he's speechless. He says people will watch this dance over and over again. And then Bruno says it was a masterpiece performance. Scores.
Did you just call me a horse?
No, I said scores.
I did scores. It's perfect.
Yeah, 10, 10, 10, 10, 40 out of 40. And then both Mike and I give it a 10 because this performance was just flawless.
I already felt this way, but I think this dance confirmed that Iman is the best basketball player who's ever been on this show.
Oh, yeah.
Until Julia Rowe gets on, then yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be iconic. But yeah, without a doubt, Iman is like amazing because he's improved so much every week. All right, next up is Suni and Sasha. Suni says Sasha is known for scaring everybody, so she's going to scare him. She's excited for Horror Night and talks about her love for the Vampire Diaries. He says Sasha is like a brother to her, and then he scares her to get her back. Dance and song.
Where is it? Bad habits. The Bad Pirate Diaries.
Bad Habits by Sheeran with a Tango. Alright. Len said her frame and says Len liked her frame and says there was a lot of good movement. He criticizes her footwork as hit or miss and says she got right into character.
I guess I never miss, huh?
Derek says the frame was beautiful and he criticizes there was a little disconnect with the music and criticizes the steps a little. Bruno criticizes her footwork but says this is the way to go. Carrie Ann criticizes the lift, but she's proud of her and says she keeps seeing more from her. She loves seeing that she keeps seeing more from her. Scores.
9-9.
Yeah, 4 9s for 36 out of 40. Mike gave it an 8 and I gave it a 9 because, I mean, I'm not like a big fan of them, but I mean, I thought the dance was actually quite good. It was pretty well done.
Sasha disappoints me.
Yeah. I'm iffy with him. All right, last up for this episode is Amanda and Alan. Alan takes Amanda to Knights of the Jack, and she confesses she's not a huge Halloween fan because she doesn't like spooky. She talks about taking her son trick-or-treating and says this is a hard dance for her. All right, the dance and stuff.
Yeah, what is it?
Argentine Tango to Paint It Black by Sierra with the theme of Saw. Derek says this routine was challenging and says it's a 10. Bruno says this dance was sharp. He loved the footwork, lines, and shape. Carrie Ann says Amanda doesn't disappoint, but criticizes she's pushing herself with too much tension and focus and forcing some of the movements instead of allowing it. And then Len says she captured the character and of the story, criticizes it was too sharp and lacked a bit of Argentine Tango. Worse?
9, 9, 10, 10.
38 out of 40. Mike gave it a 9. I gave it a 10. I love this performance because, like, Amanda and Alan are very consistent. So they're just that good. Obviously there's like weaker performances, but they're both just very consistent when they dance. Any thoughts?
No.
All right, getting into results. You want to do it or me?
Okay, results. The people called safe in this order: Iman and Daniela, Olivia and Val, Jojo and Jenna, Cody and Cheryl, The Miss and Whitney, Amanda and Alan, Jimmy and Emma, and the last person called safe is Melora and Artem, which we got him two are Suni and Sasha and Kenya and Brandon. The judges unanimously vote to save Suni and Sasha, which means Kenya and Brandon have been eliminated. And after the elimination, at the top of the leaderboard are Jojo and Jenna and Iman and Daniela with perfect scores. And at the bottom are Melora and Artem and the Miz and Whitney with a 34.
Yep. All right, getting into this week with Queen Night.
Queen.
What's your favorite Queen song? Do you have a favorite Queen song?
I don't know, what's your favorite horror song?
I don't know. But this is just to kind of get into the vibe. Mm-hmm.
Copyright.
Yeah. Copyright of Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. But I only did a little bit.
That's not how that works.
I only did a little bit.
My favorite song is the lawsuit you're about to get for that.
Not that.
I'll see you in court, sweaty. They call me Sweaty Davis.
Yes.
Instead of Betty Davis.
Pretty much. All right.
Sweaty Loohoo. Sweaty Boop.
All right. This episode starts off with an intro of the
Sweat
judges.
Midler.
Oh my gosh, you're funny. This episode starts off with an intro of the judges jamming to Queen.
Wait, let me answer your question.
What?
Favorite Queen song is Tie Your Mother Down.
Ooh, okay.
What's yours, you generic fuck?
Mine is... You know what? That's a tough one. I mean, I really like Somebody Love's pretty high up there. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta say Somebody Love is probably my top, but I mean, I like a lot of their songs. It's kind of tough to pick one. But, yeah. Anyway, but yeah. It starts off with an intro of the judges jamming to Queen in their cars. First up is Amanda and Alan. What?
I won.
Yay!
Won a minigame.
King.
I was in second the whole time. I was just fucking up left and right. Buzzer beated.
Amanda is so excited for Queen Night. She talks about her love for them.
Shout out to Fat Hands.
She talks about her love for them. And talks about her fitness classes as well as hosting the talk. And their song, the dance.
I don't know. I missed it.
We played it before.
Before what?
Like, I played the ones that you missed on YouTube earlier.
And so here's what you missed on Glee.
But yeah, theirs is a drive to Don't Stop Me Now. Len says during one moment it wasn't the right time to do a lift because they're not allowed to in the stands. He criticizes her hold in the opening and she was lifting her feet up that she was lifting her feet up too much. She said she's got to open up more and says she was lacking rhythm. Derek says the opening was beautiful and elegant, but slightly agreed with Len. He says it wasn't bad, but wasn't her best dance and didn't have that finesse. Bruno says this dance was so good. He criticizes there was a slight mistake, but says it was absolutely brilliant.
I don't get it.
I don't know. I was just trying to quote Bruno as best I can, but it was pretty bad. Carrie Ann says everything Amanda does is incredible and says this dance had high energy. And she says it feels metronomic when she dances because she's so good. She wants her to surprise them and push harder. And then scores. All right. Carrie Ann, Len, and Derek said 8. Bruno said 9. For a score of 33 out of 40. Mike said 7, and I said 8. Do you have any thoughts on this?
No, I missed it.
You watched it on YouTube a bit ago, though. But anyway, I thought this dance was good. It was okay, but it wasn't their best, and it definitely had a lot of like missteps and fumbles here and there, but it wasn't terrible. Next up is Olivia and Val. Olivia says last week's performance was extra special since she was in the bottom 2 the week prior. She says Queen's her favorite band ever and talks about her love for them, and she's really trying hard and trying not to doubt herself.
I'm hard.
Do you want to say their song and dance or no?
They had Fat Bottom Girls Quick Step.
Yes. Derek says she's so genuine when she performs. He says there was so much footwork in the stands and that she didn't miss a step. He says the routine was challenging and says it was on point. Bruno says she was a lean, mean, quick step queen.
I don't get it.
Carrie Ann says she's so light on her feet and she uses the floor. She says she has an incredible ability to put grace into most rock and roll quick step. Len says it was straight into the dance, which he always liked. He said it had speed and control. He says it was fast. She was fast, but didn't look rushed, and wishes there was more body content. Scores.
This comment makes no sense because the scores are 10, 8, 10, 10.
I know. Yeah, Len just wanted more body content this reason. But yeah, 38 out of 40. Mike scored 8. I actually gave it a 10 because I didn't actually dislike this dance. Like, I'm not a big fan of them, personally, but dance-wise, they're not that bad at all.
Did you think it was perfect?
I mean, yeah, the dance was. I liked it.
I was gonna say, if you answered no to that, then you should probably change your score.
All right. Next up is Amon and Daniela. Amon says last week was awesome. He talks about his mom loving Dancing with the Stars, and then he FaceTimes her with Daniela, and then she gives them advice. And then their dance.
Is a paso doble to another one bites the dust.
A paso doble.
Pussy doble.
Bruno says this basketball legend is now an accomplished dancer. He says this was a tricky paso doble, but says he did very well. He says he incorporated his own style without going too far, and says he needed to extend his chest and lean back from his hips. Marianne says when she watches him dance, she feels there's some spiritual thing happening. She says he's so in the moment, and brought Dancing with the Stars into a new time period and era. She says he does that with such ease and naturalness, and echoes Bruno on the lines. Len says this dance had attack and attitude. He likes when he comes out onto the ballroom and lightens and brightens it up, but criticizes this dance didn't suit him. Derek criticizes this dance lacked posture, power, and presence, but says he oozes that joy. Scores? All right. Carrie-Anne said 9.
9,
Len-
7, 8, 8, 32, 40, 9, 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Len was just way too hard on him.
Oh, you whore.
I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding.
13 coins for me.
But yeah, Len was definitely really hard on him because this was a really good dance. Not as good as his contemporary, but it was still great. Do you have any thoughts on it?
It was the titties kitties.
Okay, next up is Jimmy and Emma. Jimmy.
Now, I have a lot of problems with the way Len judges Iman because of that stupid 7.
Mm-hmm.
And Len's obsession with lowballing Iman.
We don't stand.
Iman goes from last to first to last again.
That's just gross. Jimmy is excited for their song choice, and he talks about his love for Queen and Freddie Mercury. He talks about his career a bit. Emma comes out on the road with him and says he's always committed. And then you say the dancing song.
Vianney's waltz to somebody to love.
Carrie-Anne says the line he did was unbelievable. She says he's been working so hard on his lines and that he's been hitting every line beautifully and interpreting the music. Len says in this competition, it's not how you start week 1, it's how you finish, and says he's finishing strong. Derek says the Viennese waltz is more lyrical and smooth, and this dance wasn't that. He loved this dance because it had power, energy, and charisma, and this dance was special. Bruno says he has really become a true leading man and says he was leading this dance. He says he was so on it and says this dance was brilliant. Scores?
9, 9, 10, 10 for 38 out of 40.
Mike also gave it a 9. I actually gave it a 10 because, damn, it was so smooth. It was so beautiful. Like, I just love this dance. Like, there's just something about Jimmy I just like that really sticks out to me. Like, I like him as a person and a dancer.
Is he hot?
Sure. Well, he's married with kids.
Because you're on a diet doesn't mean you can't look at the menu.
I mean, it's true. All right, next up is The Miz and Whitney. The Miz says he's a big Queen fan and talks about growing up listening to them with his dad. He talks about his dad, and then his dad shows up to rehearsal and gives them advice. And then your part. Their song in the
Foxtrot Radio Gaga.
Woo! Len says his frame was good, and in the hold, he liked the shape. He criticizes he wants his dance to be a bit more natural. Derek says the rise and fall in this foxtrot, and the control, he can really see he's articulating his feet, and says he was impressed. Bruno says he was a bit tight in the beginning. And he says he's really trying to extend those lines, and he echoes the other judges to be a little bit more fluid. And then Carrie-Anne says there's a little bit of tension. She thinks he's too tense and wants him to relax more and says he's so well rehearsed. All right, scores.
8.
Yeah, for 32 out of 40. Mike said 8, I said 9. Do you have any thoughts?
Cheese.
Jeez. I really like this dance too because The Miz is so fun, and I just I echo myself earlier. Like he just puts a lot of work into his dances, and he puts a lot of effort in. He's always committed. He puts so much energy, all that stuff. All right, next up is JoJo and Jenna. JoJo is very excited for Queen Night. She talks about her love for them and says Freddie Mercury changed her life. She talks about having confidence issues with her singing, and then they're trying to find JoJo's sexy side for this dance. Your part?
Tango to body language.
Derek says this dance was a tempting, tantalizing tango. He says it was experimental. He absolutely loved it, and he loved the ponytail thing. Bruno says this was a supermodel tango and says it was slinky, sexy, and cool, and he thought the dance was excellent. Carrie-Anne says JoJo has truly been growing. She compared her to Zendaya when she was on the show and says this dance was amazing and fantastic. Len says she showed lovely, fast, aggressive movements, didn't see some slow walks across the floor. He wanted to see a little bit more light and shade, but says she danced beautifully. Now your part. The scores.
10, 9, 10, 10, 39.
Both Mike and I obviously gave it 10s. Again, Len was underscoring. I mean, obviously everyone has their own opinions, but I mean, it was pretty underscored. It was so good. Just naturally good.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on it?
Oh.
Yes.
Water.
Woo! Stay hydrated, kids.
Well, kids shouldn't be watching this.
Well, no. All right, next up is Suni and Sasha. Suni says she was shocked when she was in the bottom two. Suni tends to doubt herself and talks about her coach, and she FaceTimes him with Sasha. Her coach gives her advice and says she's very motivated and a fighter. And then your part.
Pasta doble with rock you.
All right. Bruno says she did so well, hence not feeling well. He says she rocked that Paso Doble and says it was sharp and says the synchronization, it was fantastic, but criticizes there was a little slip. Carrie-Anne says Suni is already like a champion and says people are inspired by what she does. She criticizes the little slip, but she's proud of her for getting out there since she's not feeling well. Len says she was a little bit hesitant, which he can understand, and thought she did a good job. Derek echoes the other judges and says he's so proud of her and says she's truly a champion. And then scores?
8, 8, 8, 9. For a total of 33 out of 40.
Yeah.
This got a 7 from me because I wasn't impressed with it. I'm not a big Suni fan, but I know she wasn't feeling well.
Yeah. I mean...
But my score stands.
I actually gave it a 9. I didn't dislike it. Obviously, not as good
as
some others.
They lowballed Corey for being sick, so I don't give a shit.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Like, people deserve, like, people get out there and still do it, even if they're sick. So, like, I appreciate the effort. I love that. And I don't know. I thought it was actually a really good dance from them. But yeah, I mean, they're not my favorites, but I mean, it was still really great. And just because people are sick, do not give them a low score. That judges. Anyway, next up is Cody and Cheryl. Cody is excited for Queen Night and he talks about his best friend. He gets emotional talking about losing his best friend to addiction, and then Cheryl comforts him. Cody wants to make his best friend proud. And then your part?
Fuck, what was the dance?
Foxtrot to You're My Best Friend.
Thank you.
Carrie-Anne says for the first time she saw true joy when he danced. She says he was open, feel free and relaxed, and says this dance made her really happy. Len says this dance was a joyful performance and criticizes his butt stuck out. He criticizes his butt stuck out here and there. He says it wasn't his worst or best dance. Derek says this dance was his best. He says there was an approachable and soft energy about him that was refreshing to see. He says his frame was wider and says he was more consistent and smoother. And then Derek says his dance was a foxtrot glowing with affection. He actually saw his true self and says he was honest, spontaneous, and says he moved very well. And then your part, the scores.
Scores for Cody?
Yep.
8, 8, 9, 9, 34.
Mike gave 8, I gave 9, because this was like, I feel like this was honestly just a very like heartwarming and heart-wrenching dance. Like, I was very touched by it because obviously he was like dedicating it to his best friend. So I thought it was a really sweet dance, and they just did really well, and he did such a good job. Did you have any thoughts?
No.
All right. Next, the last one, or last solo, is Melora and Artem. Melora is so excited for Queen Night. She talks about her love for them and says it reminded her of the bull type. Katie Stevens, Megan Fahey, and Aisha D show up to her rehearsal and they give her advice, which I will
From
say.
American Idol?
No. Katie Stevens, Megan Fahey, and Aisha D. They should all be on Dancing with the Stars because they're all.
Yeah, wasn't Katie Stevens on American Idol?
Yeah, she was. My favorite from season 9 because that season was really bad. But yeah, I feel like Megan and Katie and Aisha should all be on Dancing with the Stars because they're very underrated. Anyways, you can introduce their dance.
9. Oh, wait, wrong part. Foxtrot Killer Queen.
That was iconic. Len says this dance had sophistication, elegance, and style. He says the part and hold showed great technique and thought it was an all-around polished performance. Derek says this dance was smooth. He says the costume and concept were all there and says she was radiant, regal, and absolutely stunning. Bruno says she gave a full performance package and says she was going for the Queen's Award. Carrie-Anne says she was upping it a notch. She saw the aggression and intensity. She criticizes she saw something at the end there, such as losing balance, but thought the dance was amazing. And now you can say the scores.
9.
36 out of 40. Mike gave 9. I gave 10. This was so good. Like, I think they underscored her because she's just really flawless when she dances, and she's gotten so much better as well, like as the season has been going on, but like she's just got like this flawlessness about her. Do you have any thoughts?
Bananas are a great fruit.
I mean, they are. All right. The trios. Len FaceTimes the Ms. Whitney, Cody and Cheryl, Amon and Daniela, Jimmy and Emma, Olivia Bell, and JoJo and Jenna about the jive and foxtrot relays. Every contestant are nervous. And then if you want to introduce it.
Introduce what?
The first trio, the jive relay.
We have the jive relay to a crazy little thing called Love with Misney, Cody, Cheryl, and Amon and Daniela.
Len says he thought they all came out and says it was so much fun to watch. He says they have slightly different personalities, which came out watching their drive. Derek says he loved the Mrs. Intro, Amon's shirt and his swag, and Cody's technique. Bruno says he loved the energy and synchronization. Carrie Ann says they're all incredible and says 2 of them had slight issues, but 1 stood out. And then scores?
I forgot what judge did what because I was just really lazy with the notes.
Hang on, I'm trying to remember.
You can fill one, but it's 2 points to Amon, 2 points to Cody, and none to the Miz.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It's not a big deal. And then you gave your point to Cody, and I gave
my point to Cody.
I gave mine to Amon. I mean, they were all great, but like Amon was definitely like leading for sure in that, and he was so good. And then if you want to introduce the Foxtrot Relay.
Next up is the Foxtrot Relay with Jimmy and Emma, Olivia and Val, and JoJo and Jenna to Under Pressure.
Shout out to Jazzy's tribe on YTS.
We don't speak of YTS.
I mean, no. But yeah. Derek says JoJo was beautiful and had so much content, says Olivia was beautiful and unbelievable and fantastic, and says Jimmy was so good. Bruno says all of them raised the bar so high. He loved the quality of their work. Carrie Ann says they've all grown. She says JoJo sped up a bit and then went back down. She says they all blew her away. Len says they didn't show any pressure at all. He says they came out with calmness and seemed relaxed, and says they performed beautifully. And then if you want to say the scores.
+4 to Olivia for some reason, +0 to JoJo, +0 to Jimmy. For me, it's a +1 to JoJo.
Oh yeah, definitely. I gave it to JoJo as well, but they all did really well. I just don't know why they all gave it to Olivia. The other 2 I think it should have been at least like everyone should have at least had 1. All right. Len FaceTimes Melora and Artem, Amanda and Alan, and Suni and Sasha about the beginnings waltz relay. And they're all nervous but excited. And obviously Melora loves the competition too, so she's excited. And then if you want to introduce it.
It is a Viennese waltz to We Are the Champions by Melora and Artem, Amanda and Alan, and Suni and Sasha.
Bruno says this keeps getting better and harder for the judges. He says this relay had such class and that everyone just covered the floor beautifully. He says it had great rotation and connection, and it was fluid. Carrie-Anne gets up onto the table and says, "We are the champions."
Don't do it.
Well, no. She says this relay was amazing and says they all bring joy to America. Len says he loves this because it gives such a great chance to see each of them side by side, one after another, and it was wonderful to watch. And then Derek says they were all sensational. And then if you want to say the scores.
1 minute.
Okay. And also the results are after that.
We got a +2 to Melora, +1 to Amanda, +1 to Suni, and another +1 to Melora from me.
I also gave it to Melora too, but I mean, it was kind of torn. I was kind of torn between her and Amanda, but I thought Melora definitely stepped it up more. And then getting into results.
We got more results. Safe in this order: Suni and Sasha, Olivia and Val, Cody and Cheryl, Iman and Daniela, Melora and Artem, Jimmy and Emma. The last one to be called safe here is Amanda and Alan, which means your bottom two somehow
Garbage.
is JoJo and Jenna and the Miz and Whitney.
This was just rotted.
This vote is also unanimous. And it's all for JoJo and Jenna, so eliminated this week are the Miz and Whitney. And after that elimination, at the top of the leaderboard are Olivia and Val with 42. And at the bottom are Amanda and Alan, Suni and Sasha, and Iman and Danielle with 34.
So rotted, this elimination.
And that's it. Have you watched the videos I sent you to get back over to that before we close off?
Let me see. Ooh, they're doing some Miley Cyrus.
Did you watch the clues? Aren't you going to watch the clues first?
All right.
Where's the star?
Coming in as the wow.
In the meantime, hey audience, what it do, baby? Sound off. What's your favorite horror film? And what's your favorite Queen song? Maybe it's the same as mine. My favorite Queen song is Tie Your Mother Down. And my favorite horror film is the 1986 the horrible 1986 movie Trick or Treat. Which I forget who the main...
Oh my god, these I'm watching the I just watched the clues. Holy shit.
What's holy shit?
I think I know who it is.
I think I know who it is.
Yeah. Let me just watch the video really quick. All right, so I just watched the performance and the clues for the beach ball, and I'm shocked. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's pretty obvious who it is. But I'm gonna wait for Mike back. Wait for Mike to come back because his power went out, sadly. Hopefully he comes back just so we can finish this off. How y'all doing? Even though it's late and I don't think anybody's watching. It's okay. It's been fun. I'm so glad we got to do this. I'm just gonna vibe until he comes back. Because we're literally just gonna talk about the reveal and then just do our outro and then we're good. Mike should be back shortly. Hello. Yeah, should we just like do it over the phone? Because you're on speaker.
Speaker me in.
All right. So, so Mike's power is still out, we're just gonna finish off over the phone.
Correct.
All right. So yeah, I watched the review, or sorry, I watched the performance and the clues, and I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
What's your final guess? Because they were eliminated.
Honey Boo Boo and her mother, Mama G.
And the answer is, you looked at comments, didn't you?
No.
Because
I did after I thought I knew who.
Sure, that's what they all say. The answer is Honey Boo Boo and Mama June.
Yeah. I mean, they were. I mean,
I
can tell they were. I mean, it's pretty obvious they got. It's pretty obvious they're eliminated because they're just not good.
Sure.
All right, so that's the end of this episode. Stay tuned for next week. Mike, do you have anything to plug?
My power.
I mean, yeah, we hope that Mike's power comes back soon. And also stay tuned for Spotlight starting soon. November 12th. Woo! And follow WonderPuff16 and AlleyCatXO on Twitter. And the rest of our socials, just hit us up. And love you guys. Have a good night. All right.